The cargo bay of the stellar horizon reeked of synthetic cleaning fluid and something far more primal, fear. Katniss wiped the sweat from her brow as she inventoried the contraband they'd seized from the Vraxian smugglers. Captain's orders were clear. Catalog everything, report anything dangerous, and don't touch the locked crates. Of course, one of those crates was hissing. "Neo, you hearing this?" Katniss tapped her comm unit, eyeing the obsidian container in the corner. Its surface rippled with bioluminescent warnings in a dozen galactic languages, all screaming the same message: Apex Predator, do not open. "I'm in the medbay with actual emergencies, Kat." Neo's voice crackled through. "Handle it. You're the Xeno specialist." Katniss snorted. Specialist was a generous term for someone who'd taken 2 semesters of alien biology before dropping out to join a freight crew. Still, curiosity had always been her weakness. She approached the crate, scanner in hand. The readings made her blood run cold. Whatever was inside registered higher on the aggression index than a Korthian war beast. Its biosignature pulsed with predatory intent, and according to the smuggler's manifest, it was juvenile. A baby, they'd caged a baby. The hissing intensified, followed by a pitiful whine that tugged at something deep in Katniss's chest. She'd heard that sound before, in the alley behind her childhood home, from a stray dog trapped in a dumpster. It was the sound of something scared, alone, and trying desperately to be brave. "Ah, hell," she muttered, overriding the lock. The crate's lid split open with a pneumatic wheeze. 2 eyes, vertical pupils surrounded by rings of gold and crimson, stared up at her from the darkness. The creature was roughly the size of a house cat, covered in midnight scales that shifted between black and deep purple. Its body was serpentine, yet possessed 6 legs ending in razor-sharp talons. A crown of small horns circled its head, and when it opened its mouth, Katniss counted 3 rows of crystalline teeth. The galactic database had files on thousands of species. This wasn't in any of them. "Hey there, little nightmare," Katniss whispered, extending her hand slowly. "I'm not gonna hurt." The creature struck faster than her eyes could track. Pain exploded across her palm as those crystalline teeth sank deep into her flesh. Katniss yelped, instinct taking over. Without thinking, she grabbed the creature's scruff with her free hand, yanked it close, and bit down hard on the thick scales of its neck. Not enough to break skin. Her human teeth couldn't pierce those scales, but enough to send a message. The creature froze. Its eyes went wide with what Katniss could only describe as shock. It released her hand immediately, and for a long moment they stared at each other. Blood, her blood, dripped onto the cargo bay floor. Then the creature did something impossible. It began to purr. The sound started deep in its chest, a rumbling vibration that seemed to resonate through the air itself. The creature's aggressive posture melted away. It nuzzled against Katniss's bloodied hand, then looked up at her with those mesmerizing eyes and made a chirping sound so pathetically hopeful that her heart nearly broke. "Oh no," Katniss breathed. No. You are not adopting me." The creature climbed up her arm with surprising gentleness, careful not to let its claws pierce her uniform. It settled around her shoulders like a scaly scarf, still purring, and pressed its horned head against her cheek. "Neo, you need to see this," Katniss said into her comm, trying to ignore how the creature's warmth felt oddly comforting. "Now." 20 minutes later, Neo stood in the cargo bay with his medical scanner, mouth hanging open in disbelief. "According to this, it's imprinted on you, completely, irreversibly. In what universe does biting back create a parent-child bond?" Katniss demanded, though she'd stopped trying to remove the creature from her shoulders after the 3rd attempt resulted in the most heartbreaking whimpers she'd ever heard. Neo scrolled through his datapad, his dark eyes widening. Oh, wow. "Katniss, I think I found something." He turned the screen toward her. "This matches the description of a shadow maw, an extinct apex predator from the Viridian sector. They were wiped out 2 centuries ago by the Collective for being too dangerous." "Extinct? Then what's this?" "Someone's been breeding them, illegally." Neo's expression darkened. "And look at this. Shadow Maw's social structure is based on dominance challenges. Juveniles test potential pack members by biting. If you submit or run, you're prey. If you bite back and establish dominance," he gestured at the creature now grooming Katniss's hair with its forked tongue. "Congratulations, Mom," Katniss groaned. "The Collective will want to destroy it. They'll say it's too dangerous." "Probably." Neo met her gaze. "What are you going to do?" The creature chose that moment to chirp again. wrapping its tail around Katniss's arm in a gesture that felt unmistakably protective. She thought about the smugglers who'd caged this baby, about the collective who'd deemed an entire species too threatening to exist, about all the times humanity had been called too aggressive, too unpredictable, too dangerous by the more civilized races of the galaxy. She thought about how humans had domesticated wolves into dogs, befriended creatures that could kill them, and built bonds across species lines that others thought impossible. "I'm going to name her Nyx," Katniss said firmly, "and anyone who wants to take her will have to go through me." Neo grinned. "That's the most human thing I've ever heard you say." Nyx purred louder as if in agreement. Somewhere in the vast bureaucracy of the Galactic Collective, a report would eventually be filed about the human who'd turned an apex predator into a pet by simply biting back. It would be marked as yet another example of humanity's baffling, terrifying, and somehow endearing refusal to recognize the natural order of things. But in that cargo bay, surrounded by contraband and broken rules, Katniss simply scratched behind Nyx's horns and smiled. After all, humans had always had a talent for befriending monsters.